Bug's Life. It came out right after Toy Story, and somehow, people have been sleeping on it ever since. But this film has real heart. It's about an outcast who dares to imagine something bigger than the life he was handed. The animation still holds up beautifully, and the themes, community, courage, the cost of silence, hit differently as an adult. It's a small story about small creatures, with a surprisingly big soul. Monsters University. Everyone loves Monsters, Inc., but the prequel deserves far more credit than it gets. This isn't just a college comedy. It's a story about working hard and still not being good enough. About finding a different path when the one you wanted closes. That's a rare message for an animated film, and an honest one. Not every dream ends the way you planned. Sometimes that's where the real story begins. The Good Dinosaur. This one was overshadowed almost immediately, partly by Inside Out releasing the same year. But sit with it quietly, and you'll find something genuinely moving. The landscapes are breathtaking. Some of the most realistic environments Pixar has ever rendered. And underneath the silence and the scenery, there's a tender story about grief, fear, and what it means to find your footing. It asks a simple question. What if the thing you fear most is exactly what you need? Onward. This film arrived at a complicated moment, and I think people missed it. But Onward is about brothers, about the quiet ache of missing someone you never got to know. It wraps that grief in a fantasy road trip and somehow makes it feel completely real. The ending doesn't give you everything you expect, and that's exactly why it works. Sometimes the magic you were searching for was already standing right beside you. Luca. People called it small, low stakes, and maybe it is, in the best possible way. Luca is a summer memory. It's about that one friendship that changed how you saw the world. The Italian coastline glows. The story breathes. And beneath the surface, it's quietly exploring what it feels like to hide who you are and what it costs you. Some films don't need to be epic to leave something behind. Brave. Brave gets dismissed as a lesser Pixar film, but I'd argue it's one of their most emotionally specific. It's not really about adventure. It's about a mother and a daughter, and the years of tension and love that live between them. That relationship is written with a complexity you rarely see in any film, let alone an animated one. It's messy and real, because the people we love most often are. Cars 3. Stay with me here. The first Cars gets the nostalgia, the second gets the mockery, but the third, quietly, does something neither of them attempted. It's a film about aging, about passing something on, about the grace it takes to let go of an identity you've built your entire life around. Lightning McQueen has never been more human than when he stops racing. Knowing when to step back takes more courage than the race ever did. Soul. Soul isn't underrated in the traditional sense, but I don't think it's fully understood yet. It came out during a pandemic on a streaming service, and people watched it half distracted. It deserved a dark theater and complete silence. Because this film asks something most movies are too afraid to ask. What is a life actually for? Not a career, not a purpose, a life. It's one of the most quietly philosophical films ever made for any audience. Turning Red. This film is specific, deliberately, beautifully specific. And that specificity is exactly what some people misread as niche. But specificity is how art finds truth. Turning Red captures something universal. That moment when who you're becoming starts to clash with who your family needs you to be. It's loud and funny and deeply sincere, all at once. The most personal stories are almost always the most universal ones. Elemental. Elemental arrived with mixed reviews, and then something interesting happened. People went back to it, because underneath the world building and the visual spectacle, there's an immigrant story, a story about carrying your family's sacrifices inside you and figuring out what you owe them versus what you owe yourself. It's tender and complicated, and it earns every emotion it asks for. Some films find their audience slowly. This is one of them.